Hello and welcome back to another reaction video. In this video, I'm going to be reacting to the Pirates of the Quest Table official Sea of Thieves Season 11 deep dive. I'm going to guess they're going to talk about the quest table and talk about the voyages and maybe the diving. You can dive to the quest to get there right away if you voted down on the quest table, which is kind of like a fast travel system, something like that. Some people say it's not a fast travel system, some people say it is, but let's just believe what we think we believe. Anyway, let's get started. Alright, captions on and
the main
HD.
goals we wanted to try and achieve for Season 11 was providing players with the ability to have shorter session experiences. The other kind of main goal is about trying to provide players on-demand access to some of the best content that we have in Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves Season 11 coming Tuesday.
Part of our goals with this season were to make sessions more predictable, certainly from the start. So we wanted to make sure that every session has a clear and meaningful start point.
The purpose of the quest table is about bringing all of those experiences together in one cohesive place, allowing players to just simply board their ship and play what they want when they want.
It's going to be a place that you go and access all of the voyages from all the different trading companies. And it's also the place where you can go and start tall tales and resume them and stuff.
So you can kind of go into a specific trading company like the Gold Hoarders, and then it'll have all of the kind of quest archetypes that they have down the side of the screen, and you can just simply select one and just play it whenever you want.
I played the game at beta with my family, you know, so it was a real family game for me to start off with. But like, well, probably a lot of other players go.
The question is that I'm thinking, do you still have to buy the voyages from the trading companies? That's what I'm guessing, and that's what I'm thinking. Do you still have to buy the voyages from the trading companies, like in person? Like, do you still have to walk up to the Gold Hoarders and then buy its voyages there? And then, or you have to walk up to the Order of Souls tent and then buy the voyages there? Or can you just go to your ship and then just go to the quest table and every single voyages from any trading company is immediately on there and you can start it anytime you want? I think you still have to buy the voyages from the trading companies. You can't just go to your quest table and just choose whatever you want from any trading company on which voyage you want to do. But let's just keep watching and figure it out.
What do you do when you kind of go into it? You know, you got all of this content, but you're just like no guidance, kind of just like thrown into the deep end kind of thing. And it was just trying to bring that all together. That's really the core of what we were trying to achieve here.
Introducing the length to all the voyage cards now, so there's kind of a bit more of an indication of how long something might take you, so at least you'll be able to go in with a purpose of, okay, I have this much time, I want to play this kind of thing, and it just kind of helps shorten that process even more.
The Discover tab, I'm really excited about it. It's going to guide players through their pirate journey, essentially, exposing them to short-term, mid-term, or long-term goals.
We wanted the Discover tab to be this place where we could kind of teach players all of the core systems and mechanics of the game and showcase all the breadth of amazing experiences the game has to offer so that they can see stuff, get excited about it, and ultimately go on to play it themselves.
We've built a complex logic system or recommendation engine that takes into account what the player does, their play style and their progression, and makes a determination about what we should be recommending them. So what that means for a player is that you can jump in and we will recommend the things that we think you'll enjoy or are relevant to you, or maybe have just unlocked based on something that you've just done.
So for new players, it's going to be stuff that they're kind of introduced to throughout the player, so you'll get kind of these glimpses of, well, I don't know what emissary is or captaincy, so there's going to be some information about what those things are and kind of give you some goals to work towards and build up to. For experienced players, you're going to have things like you've just unlocked voyages in there, or you're going to have events and things like that for community events days that are going to be in there as well, so lots of different stuff.
It gives us a lot more flexibility to do things like run live events. We can have voyages that activate only for a certain weekend or time period. And we can grant voyages to players that take part in, for instance, a community event. And it really allows us to do a lot more
Okay.
fun live events.
So there's like random voyages that you can do on certain days, on weekends.
Prior to Season 11, players
Okay.
would start a quest and they'd have to sail to the location of their quest, complete their quest, find the rewards, and ultimately return them to an outpost to cash them in. So with Season 11, players can just dive directly to the experience and then get straight
Yeah, they
to the
mentioned
action
this in the
immediately,
update content video.
and then ultimately complete that experience and return the treasure back to the outpost.
We can
were
just dive
discussing
on.
and
We can
exploring
vote
all
on
the
the
key
voyages and you can
moments that
dive
happen
straight to
across the
it.
Sea of Thieves,
Kinda like a
and one of
fast
the
travel system
slowest
or something like
parts
that.
of getting a session started and getting you straight to adventure is sailing to that initial island, whether it's an X marks or going to visit a particular NPC to start a tall tale.
We couldn't change the gameplay experience because that's the gameplay, and we don't want to change the core loop of players having items of value at risk on the return journey back to the outpost. So the only really stuff that we could change to try and improve the speed of the experience and provide shorter session experiences was the time that it takes to get to the experience itself.
As a converse,
Yeah,
of
it takes a
that,
long time
if
to
you're the sort of
sail
player who
straight
enjoys,
to where you need to go
seeing who's
on a
out there and
voyage.
attacking ships and that sort of stuff. 50% of the time, they were on their way to getting some loot, right? So 50% of the time, their ship was empty. And 50% of the time, you just annoyed some people. So whereas now the idea is that there's a much higher chance now that the ship is going to have something on it and isn't on their way to doing something. So that is a huge way of just like concentrating the Sea of Thieves experience into all the good bits and chucking away the bits that weren't so fun.
What we've done is make sure that if a player does dive to an activity, they can dive again straight away, but they have to complete that activity to dive again. So if they do cancel the activity, there will be a cooldown timer before they can do that again. If a
I
player
guess it's
does
balanced, yeah.
choose to dive again straight away after
There's a
completing
timer.
that quest, they
If you
will
cancel
lose
your
the loot
voyage,
that they have
there's a
on board,
timer
because we really
where you
wanted
can
to
dive.
encourage players to sail to the outpost to cash that loot in.
All right, balance. Yeah. If you
Looking
dive and
back
you have
across
loot on
the
your ship,
game,
then
the
bye-bye
voyages
loot.
don't really pay out.
That's why you
in
gotta
this
sail
goal
to an
for
outpost to
their
sail-
position
sail
within
it.
the game when you look at them against the other experiences that we have in the title. So this was a huge opportunity for us to not only go back to the voyages and kind of improve their gameplay, make them more fun to play, provide shorter session experiences to players as well, but also to kind of boost the gold value and reputation that they're worth, to make them comparable against the other experiences that we have in the game.
We now reward players with reputation for the trading companies for the simple act of completing a voyage. This means players who are short on time, who want to jump in for 20 minutes, half an hour, can jump in, dive to a voyage, complete that voyage, and they will be rewarded with reputation for that company.
Yeah, it
For
beats
Season
having to
11
sail all the
brand new
way to where you
voyages,
need to
we
go
saw
when
the
you
opportunity
do a voyage.
create a
It
new
beats
set
it.
of rewards for players
It's good.
exclusively for these voyages,
Also-
and we've put a lot of
Yeah, I haven't seen these
time and
chests or
dedication
these
to making
skulls
sure that
before.
these rewards are
It's pretty new.
valuable and desirable.
They look good.
I know the art teams have done an incredible job in making sure that these rewards look incredible.
It's always a fun task
Ooh.
when we have to design new loot.
Yeah,
So this time
the
around,
loot-
the
the
team
new
was
loot
very
looks
like
really good.
luxurious, so players can be expecting lots of gold. We are also working with a new
Love that concept
marble
art.
shader, so the gold hoarded chests and the gold hoarded treasures will have that marble
Oh, these
in them.
chests have
and
grades.
it really helps those new treasures to stand
The
out
SS
from
grade
the
that
ones we
looks.
already have in the game.
Yeah, that one
And then
it
for
looks
the
really
higher
good.
tiers,
That
we're actually
chest.
working
I like
with
the
a
design
new,
of it.
crystal shader, which really sets itself apart because again, gamers already associate crystal with like premium stuff and like high rarity. For example, for the Order of Soul Skulls, they start off looking like very dark, very obsidian, and then they gradually become more and more crystal, where the final skull is like full-on crystal skull, which is great.
The economy is something
Yeah,
that
grades.
we've tried to maintain over time, but Sea of Thieves has just grown so much, we've added so much. And my job was creating possibly the biggest spreadsheet that we've ever created at Rare, and probably the most time-consuming spreadsheet that we've ever created. It was basically my life for this whole year that we've been making this season, and certainly a real challenge, but all of that was invaluable in making sure that we balanced our new voyages for Season 11 in a way that both felt rewarding but also sat well next to other things in the game. Is something that we're always going to be looking to tweak and change. That will continue after Season 11, and I think that with the work that we've put in for Season 11, we're in a great place to be able to do that moving forward.
And the big goal of Season 11 is to make sure no matter what you do, you're always getting the same amount of gold and rep for the amount of time that you put in. That's the goal that we're aiming for. You're not choosing something by how much money you're going to make, you're choosing it by what you want to do, what's fun.
World events within Sea of Thieves are
Well,
some
a lot of
our
people,
core experiences.
a lot of people
We
in the
wanted
game, they
to,
care
as
about
part
making
of
gold.
Season 11, make sure that players could
There's a lot of
access
players
these
that I
world
met
events on demand.
where they just
And we
care
wanted
about
to do
gold.
that
They
in a
want
way that
to.
doesn't
They want to
dramatically
keep their
affect
loot.
the meaning of world
They wanna
events
protect it at all
within this
costs.
whole of the Sea of Thieves. So we are adding the ability for players to dive to world events on demand.
Yeah, they talk about this
It
as
means
well
you'll
in
always
the
get
update
to
content
the world
video.
event that you want. You don't have to spend ages on the server
You can dive to
looking.
world
I'd
events.
say you're guaranteed the treasure, but that depends on whether you actually beat it and no one else comes along and steals it from you. Players won't be able to dive to all of the world events straight away. They need to progress through each of the trading companies, and as they reach certain levels, the world events will then be unlocked, and then they can dive to them.
And that does
So you
mean
need to
that
have
players,
a certain
when they dive
reputation
to these
with a
world
trading
events,
company if
will
you
be
want to dive
doing
there.
so on
Okay.
behalf of the trading companies. These world events effectively become brand new voyages for each of the trading companies. So you will be able to, for example, complete a skeleton fort on behalf of the gold hoarders.
When players complete a world event for a
okay.
company, they'll have all of the new kind of loot items for that company,
Gold
and then they'll
hoarder
have this
skeleton
special
fort.
new
Uh-huh.
world event specific like hero item that they have
Order
to
of
return
Souls,
to that company.
Fort of
And that'll be
Fortune.
worth a lot of gold and a lot of reputation. So that would be kind of like the key item to return back to the traders.
When we first put world events on demand into Insiders, you could have lots of players turning up to a skelly fort at once. You could get there, and then another crew could be diving at the same time, and they would pop up at the same skelly fort that you were there. But Insiders don't like this because it meant that everyone was basically fighting each other rather than doing the skelly fort. So it became more about fighting and defending rather than killing the skelly fort and getting the loot for yourself.
The insiders' feedback was basically crucial.
You gotta
to
do whatever it
changing
takes to make sure
direction,
that
and
the
I
other
think
powers
actually
don't
resulted
interfere in your
us landing
skilly
in
fort
in
work.
a much better place with these world events.
So while you're the only crew now who can dive to the world event and you'll have it to yourself, that doesn't stop other crews in the shared world sailing up and joining you there. So be sure to keep a weather eye on the horizon.
There are events
Yeah,
that
incoming.
players won't be able to dive
You better stop
to
what you're
on
doing
demand.
and then start fighting.
Specifically, the Fort of Fortune and the Fort of the Damned.
It's pretty fair though.
We discussed this, but it never really felt like a possibility because those events are so driven by the idea that they appear as a one-off during your session, and they kind of draw all crews together from the corners of the Sea of Thieves, and everyone drops what they're doing, downs tools, and goes to complete that event because they're so valuable, and because there's so much unique loot there, and because there's so much challenge in the gameplay and also the threat of other crews.
Something that was really important to us was making sure that we kept that kind of beating heart of Sea of Thieves alive with the emergent world activities. So we've made a bunch of quality of life improvements to all of the emergent activities as well. And we've also put really, really high value loot in the emergent world now.
And part of that was creating what we were calling internally as the S-tier loot. So we have S-tier chests, S-tier skulls, S-tier trinkets for
Still
players
like the
to
models
find
of
in the
those-
emergent world.
of the
This sits
chests and the
above
skeletons.
all of the loot that the player has access to from the quest table.
Still the crystal look of it.
So obviously we've moved the purchasing of quests from the traders, and they're just now part of the ship. But we still want
so
the
you-
traders to have a place in the game and have a purpose in the game.
Removing the voyages kind of gave us this space to put more stuff on the promotion.
Alright, so you can't buy
So again,
voyages
kind of
anymore. I
finishing
knew it.
off that loop of I've just played a voyage, I've come back here, I've handed something
just
in,
immediately
and,
on
I've got
your
like, a
ship.
rank up.
When you go to claim your promotion, you're going to be presented with a certificate from the company shop, and you'll be able to view your items that you're going to unlock. And then once you've claimed them, you're then going to be presented with a new set of items that you're going to be aiming for. And then this is setting the player up for the next goal, because accommodations are short-term goals, and the emissary is also a mid-term goal. So trying to funnel that in and expose that to the players at that level, we felt was really important.
In general, this was actually a great opportunity for the team to have a look at those older company sets and then upgrade them. And crests are quite popular with players. So when we got the task to come up with new rewards for the companies, we knew crests were at the top of that list. My favorite crest that we're introducing is actually one of the crests for Tina's Fortune.
Some trading company
because
skins for
we've
a
decided
ship.
to take inspiration from the Ferry of the Damned. The crest will have those iconic skeletal horses you can find on that ship as well. And in general, it looks very ghostly, very creepy, and I think players are gonna love it. Then we also introduced some new trinkets that are a bit more grounded, a bit more lore-friendly. For
trinkets.
the merchants, we've got this clock that may or may not tell the actual
To be
time.
honest, I don't
and
really
then
care
for
about
the Order of
trinkets.
Souls,
I
we've
don't.
got this mirror that is
I don't
super
really care.
creepy, super elegant that players can hang up in their ship. And then lastly, and this was the one I'm actually the most excited for, is we're introducing these trinkets that are like super cute plushy versions of the company leaders, and they look
plushies.
absolutely adorable.
I still don't
think
care
my
about
favorite
trinkets
might actually be
though.
the Reaper
Sorry for my
one,
voice
'cause he
crack,
almost
but I
looks a
don't
bit
really care
angry
about
in
them.
his face, and that just makes him even more adorable.
We know that a lot of
Adorable.
our,
They're just
especially our
decorations
most
for his
dedicated
ship.
players have maxed out all of our trading companies and have been begging us for a better, longer progression system for them. And so part of that and part of the discussions that we were really passionate about early on was the idea of distinctions. Distinctions essentially allow a player to complete a trading company more than once. So we've expanded our max level cap for every trading company, except the Hunter's Call, to level 100.
Which is where you'll earn a distinction for that trading company. And when you earn a distinction for the company, your level will reset back down to level 1. We've added in a total of 5 distinctions for all the companies.
Oh, so
you can kind of go around the clock up to 5 times for each of the trading companies.
But it's
well,
a
you
really
better get your
cool
grinding
way of
then
us
if you
making
want to get
sure
this
that
distinction
all the
5
treasure
on
you
all
cash in,
your trading
you're
companies.
always ticking something up. It always feels like you're getting
Better
something
get your
out
grinding
of your
then.
sessions, even if you've played for thousands of hours, which we know some players have.
So when players earn a distinction for a trading company, they earn a bespoke new cosmetic, which is a trading company ring that's themed to that specific company. So
gives you the rings.
distinction
Yeah, they talk
1,
about this in the
you
update
claim
content
1 ring,
video.
then you get a second ring
Yeah.
for distinction 2, 3, 4, and 5, until like your full hand has a ring on each finger.
The interesting thing about rings is like it's one of the few player cosmetics that you can always see. Like no matter if you're reloading, you're fighting, you're taking stuff up, you can always see your rings and admire them, and I think that alone makes them quite high value for players.
I run a lot
and
in this game,
general,
so
players have been really asking for
I
rings.
can
They're
always see
great
the rings on
customization
both my
options.
hands.
So if players wanted to wear Order of Souls rings on one hand and Reaper's rings on the other, they can
Oh,
totally
so
do
you can
that.
you
With
can
all the
equip
changes that we've
separate
made to like,
type
the
of
quest
rings
table
on
and diving to
one of your
experiences on
hands.
demand, we thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of go back and look at all of the
Alright,
onboarding that
sweet.
we've done for Sea of Thieves and create some brand new tutorials.
Going from the maiden voyage to the main world, there wasn't much of a transition.
The rings do
Now
look
you'll
good, though.
actually wake
I have
up
to
on
give
your
it that.
ship
I like the
instead
look of
waking
the
up in
rings.
the tavern. And when you're on the ship, be greeted by the pirate lord. He'll prompt you to
Oh,
start a new
God.
voyage. You get to choose here one of the 3 voyages that we've built tutorials for.
We were really keen to kind of teach players the core mechanics of each of the companies, like the Gold Orders, the Order of Souls, and the Merchant Alliance. Each trading company tutorial takes you on a very short voyage to complete either an X marks the spot map, a bounty quest, or a simple kind of fauna quest where you have to collect a chicken and take it back to safety.
Where the pirate lord will take you through the voyage step by step. We'll tell you how to use the map table, where to find the island, and once you get to the island, it'll give you instructions on where to find the treasure and how to recover it.
We wanted to teach a little bit in more detail the core loop of Sea of Thieves in terms of earning treasure in the world and then that being susceptible to loss from other players until you've cashed it in at the outpost so that they can be ready to play Sea of Thieves in that kind of high sea experience.
And I just think for new players, I think it's going to really help them solidify what Sea of Thieves is about. They can do those and come back and think, actually, yeah, this game's for me, and I understand it now, as opposed to, you know, maybe getting it, maybe not, and that being a bit of a gamble, whereas this feels like it's a real kind of step change in how we deliver that sort of stuff for players.
So we ran it through UXR, which is our user experience research lab. We've done 2 studies on that with real players, just to really plug in any holes to make sure that new players are going to really understand how to play the game.
So we've got a lot of confidence in these tutorials that they're going to hit the right spots and that players are going to get what they need from these tutorials.
Season 11, the changes to the emergent world mean that regardless of short or
Flame
long
heart.
sessions, there's always something waiting just beyond the horizon to take you by surprise. For people who only have the time to play shorter sessions, there'll be more meaningful progress available to them, more predictably. And for people who want to play longer, classic Sea of Thieves sessions, we truly believe there'll be more treasure and gold on the seas that will make those sessions more exciting.
Season 11, Dove! Okay, that's the end of the video. Coming 23rd. So coming next week on Tuesday. Free update for Sea of Thieves Season 11. Again, I'm very hyped up for Season 11. I do like the idea of what they're going here with the voyages, with the quest table. I like the new menu system look. I like the new rewards. I like the stages of the rewards. The 5 stages of the skull, the chest, I like what they're going here with the quest table, and I like how they are trying to make your sessions a lot shorter. So it beats having to waste most of your time trying to get to a voyage that you voted down or go into a world event. You can just dive straight to it. Depends on which reputation you're at on a certain training company, and then you're gonna be doing it. And then, for example, you can be doing a skeleton fort on behalf of a trading company. So you can be doing a skeleton fort on behalf of the gold hoarders or the Order of Souls, and then you can do Flameheart, which is the green tornado. You can do that on the behalf of merchants. Yeah, merchants. Yeah, doing Flameheart on the behalf of merchants. It's gonna be good, and I can't wait for it, like I said. And I can't wait to be playing Season 11 on my Twitch streams with my friends. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun time. But anyway, if you do enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell because it'll help me out a huge bunch on my growth for this year on my YouTube channel, and I would appreciate it if you subscribe right now. And a comment down below if you want to see more videos, okay? Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.